Okay, let's begin. Today is the 26th of May 2025. Now, I would say overall, my self-talk today was okay, like better than it often is when I have something planned like I had today. So today I had planned to drive to the animal shelter, which is like half an hour away from here. And I like told myself throughout the whole day, which is my language, like I don't have to go there, like I don't have to go, like, you know, I can decide last minute, no, I'm not gonna go. But I kind of was like, yeah, I'll probably go today. Today's kind of the best day, it suits me the best, stuff like that. So, and I wanted to go as well to see if I can get a job there. So I kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna go today, but I don't have to. Like, I don't have to do anything. So I think that was already very helpful. Like, since this morning, since I woke up, I just told myself I don't have to. Yeah, and I had an okay morning. Like, it was quite hot outside and I was working outside, so I felt like, I think, a bit stressed because of the heat, and I was like sweating, and then my video was a bit more complicated to edit than my usual ones because there was just different parts, and then I had to see, I'm using a new Camtasia, so I have to kind of see how that works and stuff. But it was like fine. Like, I'd say I was just experiencing a small bit of stress, but like nothing major. Like, it was totally fine. And I did work on the Thrive program, so I watched like a half an hour long video about social anxiety, and there I actually learned a bit as well. I learned, which I already knew, but just there was another bit of a different perspective. Basically, social anxiety doesn't exist outside of your head. It only exists in your head. And then I just noticed by some things that he was saying, like social anxiety doesn't happen to us, basically. There is nothing that, like, outside of us that can make us feel socially anxious. It's when we don't manage our own thoughts and our own thinking. And then I noticed, yeah, because if social anxiety would be happening to us, then everyone in the world would be socially anxious, but not everyone is. Some people have it to some small extent, others have it to a very, like, you know, big extent. And there's like all these levels of social anxiety, and that has simply and only got to do with the way they are thinking about the situation, with how powerful they feel in themselves to cope with or influence the situation. So that was like just a really good way for me to see social anxiety, because it's really true. Like, if I didn't have those thoughts in my head, if I wouldn't be thinking about it or brooding about it and, you know, catastrophizing it, I would not be socially anxious. Like, my friend from Germany, she barely has any social anxiety. She like goes up, talks to people, like, you know, she's very much like out there and extroverted, and I loved seeing that when she was here. So it's really just the difference in the way we are thinking about social situations. The situations are the same, like, you know, yeah, so that was a really cool way of looking at it, and that kind of helped me, I think, as well, to feel a bit less socially anxious. Yeah, so after I ate then, I was texting a bit with mom, and she sent me a voicemail saying, like, she just wanted to say about yesterday evening, like, thank you, you know, for being there for dad, and that he really enjoyed the chat, and that he could only speak like highly of me. And she gave me some examples of what he said. He was like, yeah, she was really listening, and she's really good at explaining, and she could be a great therapist. Like, if she wanted to, like, she would be a great therapist, and she's so wise and really, like, you know, can see things. And yeah, that was just like so nice to hear that, you know, my dad was thinking of me in that way. And I felt the same. Like, yesterday I just really enjoyed the chat, because I didn't feel like we were judging each other, we were listening to each other. It was like an open conversation, and I loved that he accepted my suggestions, and that he was even looking for my suggestions, like he was asking me for advice. And like I didn't feel in any way like I had to like look out for what I was saying, or I had to be scared in some way. No, like it was really nice, honestly, and both of us were in a good mood afterwards as well. And it was so nice for me to see that, like, you know, we've kind of built that base for our relationship where now we can have conversations like these. Maybe not always, but at least like this existed right now. It happened, like a conversation like that, and that's the way, you know, it should be, and I want it to be. So that was just so nice. And then hearing all those compliments, and Mom obviously as well being grateful that I was there and could help him, was like just so nice. And then I felt like very much like boosted, like in my confidence, because there was some thoughts in my mind about like going to the animal shelter today, and I was a bit like anxious, I would say. I wasn't like making it worse by being like, oh my god, why are you anxious, like this is so bad, like you should just stop it. No, but I didn't make it worse, but I was still anxious a bit, and not like, I didn't really feel like much anxiety in my body, but it was more like I was very focused on that. So I was brooding about it in my mind. I was very like focused on the fact that I was going to drive there, and I didn't know if I had to drive through that city, which is usually a bit like busier, and I've, you know, never driven that route before, and like, you know, stuff like that, and then interacting with people. And so and I was like scared I was gonna like crash or die or something like that. So those were obviously catastrophic thoughts. But yeah, so I had some of those, and then when I was chatting with Mom a bit and got those compliments, like my confidence just was like boosted, and I just kind of liked myself more as a person and felt more confident in myself and who I am. So then I felt more like able to go there today as well, to that animal shelter, and just do it. So yeah, then I came upstairs and laid in the sun for about 25 minutes, half an hour, before I then first rang the shelter to see if they're open, but again they didn't like pick up. So but lying in the sun helped me to just be there for myself as well, and just be gentle, like, and I didn't fight against the anxiety thoughts. I wasn't like, oh, go away, like you're so annoying, you're ruining my day and I'm just focusing on you. But it was just like, no, you know, I'll learn at some point, you know, I won't have any of those thoughts anymore, or at least I'll be able to like fully get rid of them. But you know, at least I wasn't making my day hell by beating myself up for having those thoughts. Like I was just kind of living with them, and it was like fine. Like obviously I didn't feel like, oh, everything's so great and I love my life, but it also wasn't like, oh, everything's so shit and I hate my life, you know. It's better than what it used to be. Like it's better this way than, you know, catastrophizing the fact that I do have socially anxious thoughts. Yeah, anyways, so then I rang the people again, and like I said, they didn't pick up. Then I just, for another like 20 minutes, I just kind of hung around the house. Is that how you say it? Hung around the house. And just kind of ate a few snacks and watched a bit of TV, and kind of, yeah, just waited a bit. But then, yeah, I left, and, you know, I was like, I don't know, I didn't feel anxiety in my body again, but I did have like negative catastrophic thoughts, like what if I crash, you know, what if I like don't make it, or I'm really stressed, you know, when driving, or I don't know, like stuff like that. So then I just turned around and looked at my house again before I closed the door, and I was like, I'll be home again and I'll be fine and I'm safe no matter where I am, it'll be fine. So yeah, then I like drove off and listened to some music, and I'd say the way there I was a bit like, yeah, I definitely was stressed, like in my body. I felt the stress, and I was kind of sweating as well, because first of all it was busier, like the traffic was quite busy, and like I said, the city is a busier city, and I didn't really know the route. And then also like I don't have like a phone holder in the car, so I need to like keep checking the phone basically, and that's, you know, not very good either. We definitely need to buy one for the car, so I don't have to keep like picking up the phone or like looking at it. Yeah, and then I like drove wrong, so then I had to like drive for 8 minutes longer, and that kind of stressed me out, even though like I didn't need to stress. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna make it back at some point, but it did stress me out a bit because I didn't know the area and stuff like that. So then it like brought me through like a housing estate, and it was like quite confusing. I was like, wait, am I allowed to drive down this road and stuff like that? But I honestly was calmer than I probably would have been in the past, when these thoughts were ongoing, you know. So yeah, but at the same time, like, I was focused on the situation, so I wasn't thinking about like how my family, for example, how I'm enjoying my time in Spain, or I have this friend and stuff like that, or I'm meeting new people soon. Like I you know, couldn't really focus on those things, or they just weren't there because I was so in the moment, you know. And I wasn't having a panic attack, but I definitely was not super calm, and I was a bit stressed, and I could feel some thoughts being like, why are you stressed, you know, why did this have to happen, or why is this happening, like, why can't you just be calm and enjoy it and be confident in yourself, why do you have to be socially anxious? But there was only a few of them, because then I did arrive at the animal shelter, and when I arrived there I was like, and even while I was driving as well, I was like, look, you're doing it, you're making it, you're capable, you know, you're doing it. And when I arrived at the shelter, then I just took a few seconds before I left the car and was like, you did it, like, you arrived, you're a good driver, like, you're capable of driving, and like, you know, you made it. And even though you felt a bit stressed, like, nothing bad happened, you know. That's also something that I then realized, like, even when you feel stressed or anxious, it doesn't mean something's actually gonna happen. It doesn't mean something bad is actually gonna happen. It doesn't mean that you're actually not able to do something, you know. So that was nice for me to prove as well, look, even though you were stressed, nothing happened, you still were absolutely capable of doing it. Yeah, and then basically the gates were closed, and I wasn't able to speak to anyone. There was no one there. There was just a few cats outside eating some food, and I think there was still a worker there, because I did hear some noises and dogs were barking and stuff, so I feel like maybe it was like their feeding time. But basically no one was allowed in, and there was no like post box I could put my CV in, and I was there for like 15 minutes, and then I kind of walked around as well to see if there's any people anywhere else or if anyone notices me, but no, there was nothing. So then I texted with my family a bit, saying like, should I just leave my CV with the car that's here, or, because I guess that it was the worker's car. But yeah, I didn't. I ended up driving back home, and before I drove home I just reminded myself, I've got this, it's okay, relax, put on some music, or don't, because on the way there the music was, I think, stressing me out a bit more, or I was blaming the music. I guess the music wasn't actually stressing me out. So yeah, but anyways, and on the way there then I did turn down the music once I blamed the music for making me stressed. It actually wasn't the music, it was my own thoughts. But yeah, the way back was definitely easier, I would say, even though the navigation brought me into like a different lane, which was absolutely not necessary. And then there was a car behind me like beeping as he wanted to move, but there was a car in front of me that wasn't moving, so I couldn't get him to pass, like I couldn't make space for him. But yeah, once the car in front of me moved, then I drove further through that lane, and then I actually just stopped at the side because I saw some cars were parked there, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to stop here and take a breath. And I think that really honestly helped me, because through that I didn't keep creating negative thoughts that were like, oh, you're not able to do this or whatever. So I pulled in and I was like, breathe, relax for a second, you know, you're gonna make it home. Look at the navigation, it says to go there and there. And then I saw a car that was going the pathway that I had to go. So I was like, okay, so just do the same that car just did. And I was like, okay, it's all okay, you're safe, you're doing it, it's all good, it's not as bad as it seems. That's just your thoughts making it seem bad. If the situation is not actually dangerous, you're not in danger, it's okay. So yeah, that I think helped me. And then from then on, yeah, I kind of just went home. And then as soon as I was out of the city, I like really felt a relief. Like I really was like, oh, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. So yeah, then I obviously really noticed in my language, once I tell myself I'm safe, I am not in danger, once I believe that, once I believe now I'm capable of driving home and arriving home safely, I immediately felt safe. I immediately felt much more relaxed. So I was really like, it makes no difference whatsoever of the situation. It is my language. Once my language changed, the whole experience for me changed. Yeah, and then the funny thing is, I was like expecting my thoughts to beat me up. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go into a spiral because I was, you know, kind of stressed, especially on the way there, and kind of felt like maybe I wasn't able to do it, and I kind of wanted someone else to be with me in that moment, and I wasn't really sure of myself. So I thought like I was gonna end up beating myself up and making this a misery for myself and ruining my evening basically. But actually the opposite happened, which is so funny, and I love it. Like, I'm so proud of myself. The opposite happened because I was like, I was stressed and I still made it, and I still went there, and I still did my own thing, and I, you know, stopped in between to take a breath, and I'm driving right now. Like, everything, you know, went well, and I drove through a city and a town that's like busier, and it's all good, and I managed it, and right now like I'm you know, doing it, and I'm going home, and I'm safe, and I'm not in the city anymore, and stuff like that. Like, I really then was actually proud of myself for this experience, and I was like, this was good. Facing like challenging situations where you are a bit stressed just shows you more and more that you don't need to be stressed and that you are capable, because the stress doesn't show that you're incapable. It doesn't. The stress is not a sign that you are incapable, and I think that's what I realized in that moment. Because I always thought when I'm stressed or I feel stressed, that's a sign like I'm not able to do something. But it's not. Like, even though I felt a bit stressed, I still made it. I still did it. I was still capable. So yeah, like, I just realized a few things, and I really saw like the big difference again that language makes, and the difference it makes when you believe you can do something or you don't. Like, when I believed, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or I'd rather have someone else with me, I felt more stressed. But then as soon as I believed I'm safe, I'm on my way home, I'm gonna make it home, I was calm. And then I turned up the music and sang to it and was like in a much better mood. And when I arrived home, I processed all of it like in a positive way. I was like, I did it. I went there to apply for a job, and yeah, they weren't there, but that's not the point. The point is my effort. Like, I actually got in the car, drove there, you know, something that, you know, is anxiety causing for me. And like, I did it, and I didn't beat myself up for being stressed, even though there was some thoughts like that. But in the end, like, I processed it in a positive way and didn't beat myself up. And through this, then, through the processing it positively and being kind to myself, through that, then I will grow more confident and then feel capable of managing these situations way more in the future. And I was so proud that, like, I was like really happy that I actually experienced a stressful situation like this. I was actually happy I went through that, because I was happy to show myself I'm able to do it, and I am capable, and I am strong, even when I feel stressed. So I was actually really glad I was in a stressful situation and just challenging that and seeing like even when I'm stressed, that is not the sign that I'm incapable. So yeah, anyways, that's the language update today. Thank you for watching. Bye. Okay, today is the 27th of May, 2025. Oh gosh, okay, let's begin. Leona, stay calm, stay focused. All right. I go to sit upstairs on the roof terrace to start work, and I'm not like super motivated. I'm kind of feeling down about my work a little bit, like not too much, but kind of like unsatisfied, and kind of thoughts like, I don't want to do this work, and what if I never enjoy it again? It's a very catastrophic. But then I'm like telling myself, yeah, but you should work today, because if you don't, then you're just gonna have another day where you don't do anything, and there is people out there in the world who always need to work and need to go to work, and you know, you should do that too. Like, you should have a job, and yeah, probably find something proper to do and not just spend another day doing whatever you want. So yeah, as you can see, very, very friendly. And then I got a message from my brother, because I'm supposed to meet him tomorrow. He lives in Benidorm, and we were gonna meet like in a town before Benidorm, because I don't really want to drive into Benidorm, into the city. I've never done that, and it's quite busy, and also like I don't really like that city very much. There's a lot of people that are just a bit crazy, and I wouldn't really necessarily want to come in contact with if I don't have to. But I could also, like, I know I could go to Benidorm, and every time I'm there I feel fine, like I feel confident and totally fine. But I would just rather not go, and I thought it would also be a good idea for him to get out of that town for a bit, because he's currently struggling with alcohol issues and stuff like that. So anyway, I get a text message from him, basically very heartfelt, like saying he doesn't know if he's able to make it tomorrow, because he's afraid he's gonna drink a lot afterwards, because he used to always believe like going into a new city is like worth a drink. So afterwards, he said not while we're together, but afterwards he would probably go get drunk, and he just, you know, is scared of that happening. So he was like, yeah, he probably won't be able to come, but his girlfriend could still meet me, and I was fine with that. Like, I was totally fine meeting her. And he said like, I love you, and this is not anything like against you. I was looking forward to it, but I just don't think I can. And like, he said, I'm so fucking sorry, which usually he doesn't curse a lot around me, or doesn't really text me while using curse words, but it just showed obviously he feels very like in despair, like very desperate and just powerless, and like, yeah, just broken. So I actually, when I read, like he sent me I think 3 separate messages, when I read those I really needed to take a breath, and I could feel how my heart was beating faster, and my body was getting like a bit more nervous, or like sweaty, like kind of a stress response, because I immediately noticed like I wanted to fix this problem he has. Like, I was just like, I do not want him to feel the way he does, and I just want to get rid of that for him. But then I felt like I couldn't. I felt like there's nothing I can do about it, so I felt powerless then. But I was like, I'm going to send him back a voicemail because I want to do something. And I took a few breaths, and I was like, oh gosh. And then I sent him back a voicemail, which was like almost 5 minutes long. And I really just, you know, poured my heart out, and really was there for him, and really gave him support, and said how much I love him. And I gave him some suggestions and tips. And I was like, it's probably, you know, nice for you to go out and meet someone so that you can prove to yourself like you can do things, and you're not stuck in that problem, and it's not holding you back, and it might be really helpful just to meet me and get out of that for a while, like everything there. And I said like, yeah, I must like feel like you're stuck and you can't do anything about it, but really it's just a belief. Like no one is born with, you know, needing to drink alcohol. It's no one needs it, so you are able to stop it. And I know that if you don't give up, you will be able to stop. And like, yeah, I said obviously way more, but yeah, so I was like proud of myself for obviously being kind and for being there for him and like supporting him and showing him love and stuff like that. Yeah, then we texted over and back. Yeah, the main message was just I saw in him that like how powerless he felt and how he felt like this was happening to him and how sorry he felt and he was beating himself up and like really so down about himself. And then I felt like I just really wanted to get rid of that for him. I really wanted to solve it because I didn't want him to feel that way. But then I felt like I can't do it, like I can't do anything. So I then felt powerless. And I obviously remembered how I used to feel the way he does now, like feeling like you can't do anything about it and life is happening to you and it's all so horrible and you don't know how to get out of it. It feels like there's no answer and it's ruining your life and stuff like that. I then went on the phone to mom, like not immediately because I wanted to deal with it myself first, but then I went on the phone to her and my intention wasn't necessarily to like talk about this. I just kind of wanted to, you know, hear something from someone else. But I did then tell her a bit about this because she asked like, why did you want to call? So yeah, and it was very nice talking to her as well, like noticing this isn't my responsibility and I can help him by being there. Like that's the most I can do and that's what I always will do. And I know that for me was always what I wanted in my depression and stuff like that. People just being there for me, like, and so like I noticed then, yeah, there is something I can do, and even though that's in his, you know, hands and stuff to solve the issue, like I can't solve it for him, I can still be there for him. So there is like something I can do. And she also, yeah, reminded me of how this isn't happening to him, like he is choosing to drink and he chose to drink, and through his own beliefs did he get addicted to drinking, or believes he is addicted to drinking and believes he can't stop. And even though obviously you can stop, many people have stopped drinking, and like I said, you don't need to drink, like you're not born that way. It helped for me to see like it really is in his hands and he is able to stop it. It's just the belief that he can stop it that is holding him back. As soon as he realizes he can and it's in his hands, then everything will get better. Yeah, then the whole day I was a small bit nervous as well to meet, the girl I had planned to meet, who is one of Mario's friends. I'd planned to meet her tonight. So the whole day I was kind of thinking about it, and like I wasn't like super nervous and scared to meet her, but the thing I was a bit nervous about is, are we gonna make conversation? Are we gonna find something to talk about? And I knew like this, all of it isn't a big deal, but I felt like I couldn't stop thinking about it. Even though I didn't feel super nervous, but I was just like, a part of my mind was constantly focused on the fact I'm meeting her tonight. And are we gonna find something to talk about? Like that's the only things I kept thinking about. So I didn't like make it worse for myself. I didn't go into a spiral about it, but I was constantly concentrated on that. Like, I'm going to meet her tonight, and are we going to find something to talk about? So I felt like I couldn't stop thinking about it. So obviously that made me feel powerless, that belief that I can't stop thinking about it. And then like I worked on the Thrive program and I watched a new video that came out and stuff like that, and that honestly like helped me and I learned more. And then for like half an hour I kind of like fell asleep in the sun, And that was really, really nice because I just got to like relax my mind as well. And then I think like I wasn't beating myself up strongly, but I was a bit like annoyed at myself for just not being able to stop brooding, or not being able to stop like focusing on that and just enjoy my day, enjoy what I have. But like I constantly, like part of my mind was constantly focused on that. So I just kind of got annoyed at myself, and then felt like I'm not able to stop. I'm not powerful enough. I'm not blah, blah, blah. So I made myself feel powerless. Then anyways, it got closer to the time, and I wasn't feeling like really nervous in my body, but I was focused on it in my mind, and then very annoyed at that I felt like I couldn't stop. And then basically like half an hour before I was supposed to leave, she texted me saying she can't make it today because her dog was at the vet and now has to go to like the hospital because something's going on, so she wasn't able to make it. And obviously that was like completely fine, like her dog is the main priority. And what I noticed then is like as soon as I saw the message, my nervousness, my thoughts were gone in that second. And I know it has nothing to do with the message. It has to do with the fact that my thoughts then changed, and I didn't think there was a reason to be nervous anymore, a reason to brood about something. As soon as my mind changed, I was not nervous anymore. And I know that if my mind would have continued thinking that way, if I would have continued thinking that way, I would have continued being nervous. But I stopped, and that's why I stopped being nervous. And then that was a nice proof for me to like see it has nothing to do with the situation. Like I was nervous the whole day because I was gonna meet her, but now I didn't even end up meeting her. So the nervousness had nothing to do with the fact I was gonna meet her, because I didn't actually end up meeting her. So the nervousness is completely and only because of my thoughts. Like, you know what I mean? So like if you would believe, okay, I'm gonna meet someone tomorrow morning, and like, I don't know, I should be anxious about that for whatever reason, and you just believe you're meeting someone, but in reality you're not actually meeting anyone, you would still feel nervous because you believe you're going to meet someone, you believe you need to be nervous for whatever reason. And that's exactly what happened. Like, it had nothing to do with the situation itself, because in the end we didn't even meet, but I was nervous the whole day because of my thoughts. I hope this makes sense, but it has nothing to do with the situation. And then I was like, because I was kind of ready for going out and doing something, I was like, I still want to do something, even if I'm going to do it by myself. I decided to go for a walk in the village and see if one of the pubs is open, and then just grab a Sprite and just read for a bit or something. But there was no pub open that I could see, and then I just walked to the playground and sat on one of the benches and then read there. And while I was walking through the village, like, I actually didn't feel anxious, and there was so many people out for some reason. Like, that must have been the time where kind of everyone's just outside. And I've never seen that many people outside in this village. And then, like, I said, like, hi to a woman and smiled, but I said hi, like, very quietly, so she might have not heard me, but she looked at me, and then she kind of just looked away and didn't smile whatsoever and seemed like really serious. So at first I was like, yeah, okay, didn't think about it. But then for some reason I latched onto that for a few seconds, and I was like, that's what causes me social anxiety. That's what I'm afraid of. Or like, what if she thought I was a weirdo, or like didn't want to say hi to me? And most probably, like, she either didn't hear me, she was concentrating on something else, maybe she was having a hard day, maybe she was talking to someone else, because there was another person like standing a few meters behind me and stuff like that. And like, most probably it's a completely different reason than what I think. And even if she meant it in like no, I'm not saying hi to you, weird girl, it doesn't cause me social anxiety. What causes me social anxiety is my own thoughts. social anxiety does not exist outside my own head. So yeah, anyways, I then sat down on a bench and read. And I was there for like an hour, I would say, just reading. And I talked to Alana at the end then as well. And at first I noticed like, yeah, I wanted to immediately talk to Alana. But then I was like, no, it's okay. I can handle this. I don't need to be anxious. It's all good. So yeah, there was no one else there. There was just a few people that like walked through the playground, but no one else was like sitting there or actually on the playground. And I just read, and then the whole time I was a bit like, is someone watching me? Is someone like seeing me? But I didn't feel like very anxious about that. I still did my own thing. But yeah, I still like told myself, oh, I have social anxiety. I'm like being anxious. I'm not handling it very well. I'm not able to stop thinking about it and just enjoy what I'm doing. I'm not able to just be calm. So again, I was telling myself like I'm not capable. And then obviously I felt less capable. Then like, yeah, when I talked to Alana and was kind of distracted. And then afterwards I processed the fact that I was there and went there like in a more positive way. I was like, look, even though I was anxious, again, it doesn't prove that I'm incapable. Just because you feel anxious doesn't mean you're incapable, because I was capable. I went through the village, walked by many people, sat there, you know, in the open, and you know, there was people walking by and stuff like that, and I still did it, and I still took on that challenge, and I still went out because I wanted to do something today, and you know, so do something as in like outside of the house. So then I was like trying to process it in a more positive way, and I was like, it's all good. But still I was, I think, beating myself up more and just telling myself I'm incapable, and like, you know, will I ever be able to handle people's looks or people's comments or things like that again. But yeah, because none of that actually makes a difference in my life. What makes a difference is the way I am speaking to myself, the way I am talking to myself, and what I believe, and the way I'm perceiving things and processing things. Yeah, anyway, I got home then, and I had texted my brother again saying like, would you like to send me on your girlfriend's number so I can just chat with her about tomorrow, and if you don't want to come, then like no worries and stuff like that. And then he sent me a message which kind of, I think, proved he was drunk, because he said like, sorry, I just woke up. It was like the middle of the day, which, yeah, okay, maybe he took a nap. That's what I thought first. But then it went on saying like, I'm so sorry, like I don't think I'm gonna meet you today. I was very looking forward to meeting you today, but maybe my girlfriend still can. And it was like nothing about today, like we were gonna meet tomorrow. So I think he was drunk, because he must have thought like it's the next day or something. And then he was like, I really hope you know it's nothing got to do with you. Like, I love you so much, and like, yeah, I was really looking forward to meeting you, and I really hope you don't put me into like a bad category. Basically, he was like, you know, basically begging me not to see him in a bad way. He was like, please be patient with me and stuff like that. And oh my God, my heart just broke. And I was like, oh my God, I would never see you in a bad way. I know you're trying your best and you've got such a good heart, and I'm always here for you, and I love you, and like, it's all okay. You're gonna get through this. Like, oh my God, like I was like so heartbroken. Like I don't want anyone to feel the way he does. And I could just see like he was feeling so broken and down and so powerless, and he was beating himself up, and his self-esteem was so low. And obviously that's why he's drinking, because he feels powerless and because his self-esteem is low and stuff like that. So, oh my God, I just felt so bad and no, I'm not just crying because I felt bad for him, because like I'm not just like taking on his emotions, but his situation is just reminding me of the way I used to feel, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, and I wish I could remove this problem from his life. And then I obviously feel like I can't, so I'm feeling powerless. I felt like I really wanted Mario here to like hug me, and then I was telling myself that like I'm powerless in that way as well, that I'm like powerless because I feel like I need someone else to feel okay right now, or that I'm reaching out for him for comfort instead of just being okay with myself. And then I was like telling myself how I was powerless in relation to anxiety, because again today I had some anxious thoughts, and then the other few days as well in between, like I had anxious thoughts, and I feel like once I have anxious thoughts, like it's as if they have like a hold of me and I'm in their grip, and like I just feels like I can't stop it, and I can't stop thinking about it, and I can't get out of it and help myself. So I was telling myself I was powerless about that as well. And then I was beating myself up about another topic, which is like the sexual topic as well, again, like the sex topic and like masturbation and stuff like that. And I was like beating myself up for that, because at the moment I'm like thinking about it more and like more interested in it than I ever like was, or I never allowed myself to be interested in it. So now I'm more interested in it, but then I was beating myself up for that, being like, you're such a weirdo, and like you shouldn't ever, like you shouldn't be interested in that, and like you shouldn't reach out for that just to be comforted. Like you should be okay with yourself and not need anything else to feel comforted or whatever. So I was just listing all these things where I was telling myself like I feel powerless, or I am powerless in that situation. Yeah, obviously due to that belief that I am powerless, that's why I'm creating anxiety, that's why I'm beating myself up, that's why I have low self-esteem, stuff like that. But it really is just a belief. And I'm actually grateful like for today, because like I now got to find out one of my core beliefs is that I can't do anything about it. That is one of my core beliefs. Like I can see that playing out throughout my whole life, and especially like in my depression, like that's where that belief built up, because I felt like I couldn't do anything about it. Like I was stuck and things were happening to me that were completely outside of my control. So that's where the belief built up. And then obviously I'm still keeping it alive nowadays by trying to prove to myself, oh yeah, you're unable to do this, you're not able to do this and that and this and that. So I went for a shower and I obviously felt like this. And then I came out of the shower and the song All of Me by John Legend was playing, and I was kind of like singing to it but sobbing to it, like, and then I was just like leaning against the wall with my head and I was just crying, and I was just like, oh my god, like why do I feel so powerless about things, and I don't want to feel that way anymore, and I want to feel capable and stuff like that. And that honestly helped me so much to cry about it, because then I noticed how I was making myself feel so powerless and how I actually am not. Like there's solutions to everything. And yeah, that was actually really nice to cry about it. And then my dad asked me if I wanted to call with him, so we called for like over half an hour, I think, and I told him a bit about what I was going through. And at some point as well I like teared up and was crying a bit, just because I'm telling myself how I'm powerless, and I'm seeing how much that is affecting my life, how much it is affecting me, and how unhelpful that belief is. And anyway, he then reminded me as well how, you know, OCD is about being obsessive. So people like me and him have the brooding thinking style. So we're not like crazy. It is a normal thing if you have like OCD or some sort of mental illness or struggle. And then he also reminded me of how other people have gone through this as well, or other people are going through this. So like my coach, like she, you know, brooded and obsessed about things as well when she was struggling with emetophobia and stuff. I don't have emetophobia, my dad does, but anyway, she had emetophobia as well, and she used to, like, when she was at work, you know, she was distracted, and so she wasn't brooding, and as soon as she came home, she was brooding the whole night and making herself feel really horrible. So it was really nice to see, like, there's other people as well who went through that, and those people also stopped it and are now living a thriving, happy life. And there is a way to stop it. And also then I didn't feel so bad about brooding, because I was like, there are other people out there who were also struggling with that, like, and I don't know, that helped me to see. And yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna stop this video here. I'm feeling better since I noticed, like, my belief that I am powerless is what is causing all this entire video. My belief that I am powerless is causing all of this in me. So I need to and want to change that. And since I cried in the shower and just cried about everything else, like, obviously I was also crying about my brother and how I wish I could do something and how I don't want him to feel that way, and I'm like so sorry. And obviously in relation to my language wasn't good today. Like, I wasn't being kind to myself. Even though I wasn't being really harsh on myself, like, I have to say I wasn't. Also, I was just I was going through, like, the anxious thoughts as well, or the fact that I was, like, obsessing about something, or, like, focusing on something so much. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get through it, like, it's not gonna ruin my life and stuff like that. So I didn't beat myself up for it very much, not as much as I would have in the past. And when I noticed, like, I don't really want to work anymore, I want to instead work on the Thrive program, I was then like, okay, I'll just finish this part of the video and then I'll just stop and work on the Thrive program. So I didn't tell myself, that's not good enough, you have to work more or whatever. So, like, there was also nice thoughts, and the fact that I wanted to go out and do something, and then did go out into the village and read there in public, and then dealt with socially anxious thoughts as well, like, shows so much. So, like, you know, I'm getting further, but then there's also these thoughts like, no, I'm not getting further and I'm just gonna fall into depression, I'm just gonna give up and everything's just so bad and I'm just not gonna enjoy life anymore, and I'm just not gonna love anything that I'm doing, and I'm just gonna want to die and just feel so unfulfilled. And what do I want to do with all of those years of my life that I have left? And, like, or then, like, no, maybe I'll just be so depressed, or something bad's gonna happen, I'm gonna die young, and, like, stuff like that. Like, so freaking stupid. So freaking unhelpful. But after crying about it, noticing my unhelpful belief that's causing all of this, and then talking to my family, and then being a bit kinder to myself, being like, look, it's okay, like, you know, the fact that you're believing these thoughts is making you feel bad, so that's understandable and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm gonna just relax a bit now. It's already quite late, it's 9:30. So yeah, but I'm gonna relax, watch The Notebook, and just feel whatever the hell I feel, and know that it's because of my own beliefs, and trust that I absolutely can change it. But that's kind of the belief that I am powerless, like, I can't do anything about it, like, as if I can't change it. Like, part of me is just believing, no, I can't change it, whatever it is, and I just need to live with it or whatever. Like, I don't know, like, that's, yeah. Anyways, yeah, see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.